Welcome to the Council of Titos, the new show on the Laro-Laro channel, where we are going to talk about a different kind of game compared to the usual stuff we talk about on the channel. And this is the long-running reality show, Survivor. I'm Chief Bisdak Joel Parcon, and with me on tonight's Council of Titos is Martin Vicencio. Say hello, Marts.
Hey guys, you can call me Martin. That's it, just Martin.
And with us tonight is a new Sportito. New Sportito on the council, Joao Atienza. Say hello, Joao.
Hey. Hello.
There you go. And tonight
I can be Vice Chief Bisdak.
Vice Chief Bisdak. So we've got two Bisdaks here tonight,
Chief.
and Brazil duck as well.
Brazil duck.
All right. Yeah, Martin is all the way in Brazil. All right.
We're recording on a weekend, so this is not a work day. On the record.
I think that Martin just needed
not
to
a
make
work
that
day.
clear.
I'm on quarantine. Okay.
Just to be clear, Martin,
Just to be
this is
clear.
not. Yeah, this is not a
This
work.
is recorded on a weekend.
Yes.
And you guys are still asleep.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay.
Can't
Anyway,
bother me.
for this show, we're gonna
Can't bother.
discuss our long-delayed recap of season 41, as well as look at the upcoming Survivor season 42 contestants.
Ooh.
But before that, since we have a new Sportito in the council, we just gotta ask him the standard questions that we've got here. Standard, since we've had we've had one episode already, so it's like a standard question. So Joao, how did you start out watching Survivor? What has been your Survivor experience? What is your favorite Survivor season?
This is really weird, right? Because I started watching Survivor when it first started showing on AXN, I believe.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Right? And we were quite
We were
young
younger.
at the time. we were Jeff Probst's ideal demographic, right? Because it seems to be all about the kids breaking the fourth wall. Hi there, I missed you, that whole sort of thing. The first season I think that I watched was the second one, because if I remember correctly, that was the first one that they showed in full in the Philippines. So it was the Australian Outback. I think.
Outback.
Yeah, we were talking about this before the show. That was also the first one you watched as well, Joe, no? So, there. And then I watched I managed to watch the first season. I don't know how. I don't remember how. Watched the third and the fourth one, and then just stopped watching Survivor altogether. And then you and Martin started talking about Survivor, and it was I should watch this during quarantine and all. You know the story. It's like the Danny story in a way. And started watching again in earnest season 41. Right, let's drop the 4 and let's kind of keep the 1. And I remember watching a YouTube video from one of the Survivor YouTubers like Peridium or Idled Out or one of those guys, talking about how season 41 is a really good jumping on point, right? Because you just came from Winners at War, and all of that baggage is going to be left behind and all of that. So this is a fresh new start. So I was like, all right, cool, let's take a fresh new start in Survivor season 41. And I feel really bad for having missed so much of what was probably an amazing 20-year run,
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's sort of my history with Survivor. And my favorite Survivor is, I don't know if this is a normie sort of thing to do, but Ethan Zahn from
Africa.
Oh,
from
okay.
Africa. Yeah. Because that was the first season. I mean, the first season I watched was the Outback, right? And that was okay, yeah, I'm sort of getting a feel for it. Then when the third season comes in, oh, so this is what those people were talking about when they were talking about strategy and all of that, right? Because my one of my cousins was a really big Survivor fan at the time. Like she was in the US, and she's like, oh, strategy and all of that. And like my, 12-year-old or 14-year-old brain or whatever, it was like, strategy? I thought they were just, out there to like survive. Like the big split in the first season of Survivor, right? There was the sort of, we are here to play like a strategy game, the Richard Hatch sort of idea.
Yeah.
And
okay,
this is like, yeah,
figuring things out.
That's who we get.
Yeah, and then the other side, which was what's the term for it, where you just like wipe out an entire tribe?
Pagong.
It was a pagong.
Pagong.
It was
because Richard was in Tagi, the other tribe was Pagong.
Yeah, so Pagong was like Pagong, right? And coming into watching the second season of Survivor, it was I wasn't aware of sort of the strategy and the game sort of element of it, right? And coming into the third season was when it really clicked for me. Like, okay, so this is the depth of the game, and that was the season that I really got into. And because of that, Ethan became my favorite like Survivor. And also he's a really nice guy. He survived cancer.
Yeah, really nice guy.
Man. I like how he came back in Winners at War. It's like not the Ethan we knew, but it's like the aged Ethan that has more life experiences. And, the situations that happened to them.
Yeah.
He's not the young winner that just knows football and stuff, playing football with the kids in Africa. It's fun though, because he actually evolved in a way that he's doing grassroots soccer now. So he's still doing soccer.
Oh, that was another thing that stood out to me. Like, this guy's American, but he is into football or soccer, right? Because like that was a thing that I also that I also liked back then. Right? Like, I still do. My brother and I were so much more into soccer back when we were like in high school. And to see somebody that was American, but was into like soccer was novel to me. It's like, oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, he definitely is one of the most, I can say, sincere Survivor contestants of all time. Because I mean, in Survivor, it's inevitable. Sometimes you're gonna have to lie. Sometimes you're gonna have to strategize to backstab some of you. But Ethan Zahn, I think his game throughout the years, it's always been honorable. I would think, right? Yeah. Wow. But among all of the seasons that you've watched, so you watched up to season 4, Joao, and then jump to season 41.
Yeah, more or less.
So among all of those seasons,
some episodes here and there.
Among all of those seasons, which one for you was like the best for you?
41.
41.
Because it's the most recent. A recency bias.
Recency bias.
Yeah. Yes.
And to be sort of shocked at the depth that has come of Survivor over the past 20 years, like was something new, and something that I found to be like, wow, okay, this is what Survivor is now, and I kind of like it a lot more than what I remember from the standard definition days. At least in terms of the depth of strategy. Yeah,
it really has evolved in all of the 20 years. How many years has it been, Mark? 27? 26? Around that much. Yeah.
I think it started 1999 or 2000.
99, so around 23, 22, 23. Okay.
Let's just make it 22, because I still feel it's 2000 it started. I don't know.
Okay.
Because AXN started airing at like, I think 2020 at 2001. That's like a few months before 9/11.
Mm.
That's why there was a delay between Australian Outback and Africa.
Mm.
That's what I remember.
But I do remember having seen it because I didn't get cable not until I moved to Manila. I do remember watching it on Studio 23.
Yeah, because it replaced my favorite show, Exposed, like the Secret of Magic,
The Secret of
or
Magicians.
wrestling. Stunt Granny.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. So, well, anyway, whenever it started,
Whatever. Yeah, it's been
whatever
20
year it
plus
started,
years,
it's really evolved. Over the years, they've developed like an old school versus new school strategizing, and yeah, we've seen a lot of that. And yeah, even in season 41, we've had some of those, right?
So,
Yeah.
Joao, so that's your favorite season. So
I mean, of
let's
the ones
jump
that I've
into
seen, which admittedly
Yeah,
is like,
not
what
much,
is
but hey, it's cool.
what is 5 divided by 40? That's like the percentage, right?
Yeah. So, I gotta ask. Let's jump into it. What were your first impressions of season 41 when you were watching it? And like, did you like the ending, or is it a satisfying ending for you? Yeah.
My first impression was like, well, this is different. This is very different.
Mm.
You know. Um, Remember, I watched before like idols were a thing. You know.
Yeah.
Oh.
Before Hidden Idols were a thing, yeah.
And to see how much like a lot of things like that really sort of tickled my fancy were things like the inclusion of things like the prisoner's dilemma and the Monty Hall problem. Like, oh wow, these are pretty cool concepts that like we talk about in the faculty room and whatnot. And like, oh, they're on TV. You know?
They're on a reality show,
Yeah, they're on a reality show.
right?
Yeah, so it's very different. There was a lot of so when Jeff Probst was talking about Survivor, the game or whatever, being like a monster, I really did see that the sort of sort of juxtaposed against what Survivor used to be and what Survivor had become, and that's really what struck me, that the game had developed a lot more mechanics.
Mm.
And when like Martin talked about Survivor as a game, it made a lot more sense to me seeing the mechanics of Survivor as opposed to like all the way back in the day when it was a show. If that makes
Yeah.
sense.
It's not just a show now. It's really like something that evolves. Uh,
Yeah, I
it's a
think
monster. It's a monster.
There's a lot of depth. There's a lot of depth to it now that comes from the format and what they include in the game.
mm, yeah,
Uh,
and I think it also comes from the fact that a lot of the contestants who go on the show nowadays are like fans of the super fans of the show.
Yeah.
So they actually study the game, is so much so that the producers of Survivor are forced to find ways to make it challenging for them, because these guys, they analyze like what later we're going to talk about the the cast for the upcoming season, and we've got a ton of super fans in the upcoming season. Yeah.
Like the thing that struck me was Evie when she did that puzzle in like 0.2 seconds or whatever.
Because she
It was
had
like, oh,
been
yeah, this is-
been practicing it,
Okay.
because she saw
Yeah.
it in a previous season. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Because they're like super fans, they know all of these things. They know how to. They know, like, okay, so this is around the point in time when Survivor throws a monkey wrench
A
into
puzzle.
right, a puzzle or something that we need to figure out. That was yes. Season 41 was pretty cool. Speaking of which, yeah, I guess that we can just go on to our recap and thoughts of season 41. Well, first, I think that we gotta mention it, that Martin and I, we by virtue of our supporting our countryman, We got it right. We got it right. We got the winner right, Erica.
Now I gotta admit I got it wrong. I was picking Ricard. But yay, Philippine of Pride. Congrats, Erica. Because he had the most stealth-like edit to win it all recent season. Because Joel was actually Chief Bistak was talking about this previous episode. He was trying to figure out the winner's edit. All we were seeing was the Debbie Wanner edits of the people who will be voted out during the merge. Because we thought they were in it to win it, like the Shans, like the Ricards, like even the Deschamps or Xander. Holy smokes, they didn't want Xander to win. Maybe was it an age thing because he was the youngest?
Maybe, or
part of it, or he was the jury goat. So I mean the goat, not the greatest of all time.
The goat, the guy that you'd bring. Goat. Yeah, the survivor goat, right?
We're using survivor term. You guys are doing edgic on it. Let's use survivor terminology.
Yeah. Oh my god, that's edgic. Oh shit.
Right. So it's Well, with Sander, I think that he had the underdog thing going for him, because
so by virtue, he should have had a vote or two.
The jury didn't respect the game that he played.
Well, most of him, I guess, because obviously Liana doesn't like him. Because
I have theories about that. I have theories about that. It's
but
like
the others,
pulling pigtails and stuff.
One vote from Nasir. I was expecting that one vote. Because when you listen to the last episode, he was the one pushing for Xander.
But I think it goes back. I think it goes back, Marks, to we were talking about this before we recorded. Your bet, Ricard, after he got voted out, as he was observing the tribal councils, he really saw the game of Erica, and he respected the game of Erica. He actually ended up being the biggest advocate for Erica. Right? I think it was in the reunion show, or the after show, because they had it right after, right there. Right? I don't think you call it a reunion because they never left, right? The after show where they were all there, and I think that it was Ricard was saying how he was really pushing for Erica to get the votes, and I think that it's because of his being an advocate that everyone just so he was able to point out how Erica's game was really the best, right? So I was
speaking of the after show.
Yeah.
Speaking of the after show and Erica winning, did you guys notice the reaction shot that Erica got the reaction of Erica when Jeff said that we're going to be doing something for the first time after it was announced that she won? Because they had their after show or whatever, but then Jeff made this big deal about it, and for the first time ever we're going to be doing something, whatever. And to see Erica's reaction as if oh my god, is he going to take away the $1 million that he promised?
Well,
is this one last twist?
For the first time ever, you're gonna have to do one more challenge to actually win the $1 million.
Oh no!
It's a solo challenge.
No. Oh god!
Her oh my god!
It's not ending.
Yeah.
And then he said, "Oh well, bring pizza and wine."
But actually, now that you mentioned it, Martin, after having seen them doing the after show, doing an after show and not a reunion show,
it made sense.
It made sense, and for me, I guess it's also part of the evolution. I don't know if when the pandemic ends, or if the pandemic is already addressed, if they're gonna go back to having a studio audience. 42. Right, but I think them doing an after show instead of a reunion show, it made it more how would you say it?
Fresh.
More fresh, and everything is like more integrated. Everything's more organic, right? They were all still dirty. I mean, the winner was still dirty. They didn't like clean up, and everything was just there. It was very simple, but it was really cool. I'm sure that Probst will want to have that studio audience because he wants to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't think season 41 or 42 will have that because of the pandemic
The
considerations.
pandemic is still there.
Do those two
think-
things have to be mutually exclusive? Like, does it have to be like, if we have an after show, we don't have a reunion show sometime down the road or whatever?
They could
I
probably
wouldn't
do
know.
that. They
Maybe,
could probably.
but it depends.
But I mean,
Depends
what,
on how
what
much
would
money
the,
CEO
It's
wants to
done
give out.
already.
Yeah, and what would the
Yeah,
what would the
the sea of
purpose of a
money.
reunion show be? Right?
It's done. Like it's all done.
Yeah.
That's true.
The whole point of the reunion show is that okay, these guys haven't seen. I don't know what the usual gap is between the final tribal and then the announcement of the winners, but yeah, there is that gap, and that's why it's a reunion show, and it's also really for them to meet the fans and the fans to meet them as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True.
Because I don't know. Like I would like seeing all the post game press and stuff. Like I would have liked to see a reunion show for this particular season because of the time that had passed, and you get to see how like the relationship of Shan and Ricard developed or
Fair.
failed to develop past, like after season or after the season, right? Like things like that.
I think they're
After they
okay.
see each other's post game press
Yeah.
and they start like bitching about each
Yeah.
other. Like it would be
Yeah.
nice to see them all come back and be like, okay, why did you
It's
say
so-
this on Rob Sesternino's podcast? Oh yeah,
Oh yeah,
you
the
said
RACP
this on,
recap.
you know?
It's, on EW with Josh Wiggler or whoever.
Yeah.
But I think from their press, it seems like the one that has yet to heal was JD and Shan. 'Cause, not that we care.
Yeah,
I'm
that
sorry,
kid was just,
JD.
like, yeah.
He's just a kid.
The Aaron Fox just he couldn't figure
Kept
things
throwing
out.
layups, man.
He was played. He was played by Shan. So yeah. But yeah, I mean, Joao has said that it's his favorite season so far because of recency bias. Martin, your thoughts on how the whole thing went?
The twists, man. Like the sand thing. Erica did the reverse thing of history.
Mhm.
The do or die with the song.
Mm-hmm.
The knowledge is power.
Mhm.
Everything else.
That knowledge is power advantage. That was they got played.
That was the best case scenario for me. Like I said, had it been played differently, that would have sucked.
Yeah. Yeah, and,
That
and,
would've
and
been
kudos to
one-sided.
the producers for doing that edit. They did that kind of edit that where, although as a spectator you kind of know that okay they did something here, right? It's not like the majority didn't have the true advantage there. But yeah, it was really cool. It was one of the best twists that happened in that season.
You know what I found super interesting about it, or what I liked about it as well, and this was probably unintentional. When you divide up 41 into like the pre-merge and the post-merge, the pre-merge feels like the gathering of advantages,
Mm-hmm.
and then in the post-merge, like none of them found any of those idols, and like Xander didn't find the thing under his bench or whatever, so it
That was so
was sort of the but it was sort of the playing out of everything that they had accumulated in the pre-merge, and it had like a sort of unintentional structure that I kind of appreciated as well,
yeah.
where
yeah.
the second season was the post-merge was more of a consequence, more of the consequences of what had been accumulated in the sort of pre-merge.
Yeah, it's true, man.
Yeah.
True. And it's not like there was advantage getting during the post merge. Like it was only early on the knowledge is power, the thing of the idols.
Yeah.
That wasn't at the tail end. Like no one got Suried out of it this time. Yeah. No, yeah. Sorry.
And yeah, correct me if I don't know if I'm remembering it correctly, but not a lot of them went to the island after the merge, right?
Merge, yeah. It was just pre-merge.
Yeah, everything
I
all
think
of that was just pre-merge.
Pre-merge was like this fast-paced, the fastest-paced pre-merge ever.
Yeah.
And then they slowed it down a bit to the post-merge, outside of the Erica situation in the do or die, right? If you notice that.
Yeah.
Only then they used the advantages, but they couldn't find the new idols anymore. Because in previous Survivor seasons, like before 41, there's still a lot of people getting idols. There's a lot of Russell Hanses, a lot of Ben Bombs, a lot of you know, a lot of people getting advantages at the tail end of the game.
Wait,
Now
Joao, are you
needs to
familiar
jump,
with
though.
Russell Hans?
I've heard the name, and I've seen like videos, you know, about his story, but I haven't watched the seasons.
You gotta watch Heroes versus Villains, man.
Heroes versus villains. Yeah.
You know, that's the thing though, because like I remember Martin gave me like a
I
list.
gave you a list.
Okay,
I gave you a
these
list.
these are the seasons that you have to watch. But the thing that was difficult about that was a lot of them were
Backstories. Yeah.
returning seasons.
Mm.
So
Season 7 is a new season, a new cast.
yeah,
With
yeah,
Rupert.
but like,
You
but you know,
gotta
a lot
check
of them were like, okay, so
Oh,
you have so
most
like,
of
okay,
them,
cool,
yeah.
man, watch heroes versus villains, but then I'm gonna have to watch all of their backstories.
All of their
like,
backstories. Yeah.
No,
from the previous
afterwards, man. It's like you're gonna do a reverse MCU. You watch Infinity
You watch
War and
Endgame first.
and then you watch the rest.
I like to have the context, you know.
Okay.
So like, so the season that I've been watching, for example, is Survivor Cagayan, because like that's a new player
cast.
season,
Mm-hmm.
right? So it's like, okay, this is, you know, I can sort of I can get this without having to see all of the past context of these players, and, like where these players are coming from, because it's just a new cast. So
Yeah.
those are the ones that I'm like, in my sort of catching up. Those are the ones that I'm hitting up first.
So you watched Cagayan.
Yeah.
Cagayan.
How was Tony there?
Tony, oh my gosh, Tony Vlachos. For me, like he's one of my all-time favorites. Tony Vlachos.
So was it Joao, was it huge? Did you need it?
It's crazy, huh?
You think he's crazy? There's someone crazier. What's his name? The former federal agent. What was his name?
Philip Shepard.
Philip Shepard. There you go.
But he was in a returning season, but it was just two returning players.
Yeah, that was Russell
Rob
and
Russell.
Boston Rob.
So you can watch that.
You can watch that.
With
But Boston
pink
Rob,
underwear.
was Boston Rob in the first
Season 4.
season
Sorry,
4?
four.
So he-
Season
yeah,
4.
His first, no, was in Marquesas.
Marquesas, yeah.
For cases, yeah. He took out Hunter Ellis.
Yeah. So yeah. Oh my gosh, there's someone crazy.
So yeah.
And at least you've got. I mean, with Tony, he's
Cagayan.
still there's still method in his madness. With Philip, I don't think there was any method at all.
It's just madness. I'm a federal agent. And then they put a question mark.
Federal agent, right? In their lower thirds, they have like the occupation of the person. So Philip, federal agent, question mark, because no one really knew. But they did confirm that in the end, that he was an actual
It was
federal
confirmed,
agent.
though. It was confirmed. They just don't want to buy it.
It's
It goes
Survivor,
back
no?
to
It's
the season.
also really, you know, acutely aware now of how it is, more than anything else, the editors that,
Yeah.
Yeah,
like this is an editor's art more than anything else.
yeah.
That's why I think if you notice the cast, it's more diverse, and while we did talk about Philip, it is a bit in relation to the current makeup of the cast here. There's predominantly more Asian Americans, more
Mm.
Latin Americans, more African Americans.
Yeah.
And if you notice the alliance of Shande, Sean, Danny, and
Oh yeah,
Liana,
yeah,
it
yeah.
was due to the movement of 2020. Uh, because there is an initiative also in Survivor. And we did talk about the edit. Yeah, we can talk about Fort being the crazy man, but remember, he's the crazy African American man. There might be some people may think of it as a race thing with him
Mm.
because I'm a federal agent. Really? You're sure? Yes. Why? Is it because of the color of the skin, or is it because how he acts? Sometimes some people would think it's just the way he
Oh
acts, but
really?
there's always
Was it?
no.
It was for me. It
There
was
was
always
an
the way he
echo.
acted.
Me
I
too, actually. It's
Yeah.
really the way he acts, but we don't have this situation with us, but some would think it can also be a race thing. The
Mm.
editors might have been a bit more biased in it. Some mentioned that before.
Mm.
So going back to season 41, how did you feel about the alliances? Like not just that alliance, but also the alliances of I don't know, was it Tiffany and Erica
Yeah,
from
it was
the Blue
Tiffany and
Tribe,
Erica. Um,
and then the main Shan and Ricard thing
yeah,
as well.
but it was hard because I the storytelling of that season. I don't know if it was a good thing or a bad thing, but the thing is we didn't really feel. Personally, I didn't feel the influence that either Tiffany or Erica had on the game.
Yeah.
Erica showed her influence towards the end, but Tiffany, for me,
Mhm.
I didn't see it. I'm guessing that it was in their efforts to try and downplay Erica so that it'll be a surprise win in the end. But yeah, for me, all throughout, I mean, even Erica went into it saying that she's a wolf in sheep's clothing, right? Or yeah, something like that,
Oh yeah.
right? So she was playing into it, but Tiffany as well. I never saw, because you have those contestants who are seen as like the mother hens of the tribe, but it's apparent that they're the mother hens of the tribe. But with Tiffany, I didn't really feel that, so I couldn't see how strong that alliance was. And you've got them juxtaposed with the Shan Ricard alliance, where they're so conniving, they're so calculating and everything. So yeah, yeah, it was hard to see that. I guess again, going back to Zhao's point, a lot of it was editing, a lot of it was the storytelling.
Yeah.
Probst really probably wanted to tell a specific kind of story, and yeah, they used editing to do that, which, yeah, you come from season 40 where you're saying goodbye to a lot of your legends.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so this is a different kind of story. This is a uh,
New,
new
new
story.
playing field.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you guys? What about you guys?
Well, for me, I like the whole new game thing. You know, but man, Zhao, yeah, I can't wait till you watch season 7, because you need to see the Sandras of the world, the Johnny Fairplays, the Ruperts.
Oh, speaking
You
of
know,
Sandras of the world, if you can catch her on
yeah,
Survivor Australia. It's
yeah,
they're doing a
man.
blood versus water on Survivor Australia right now.
She's still on right now, right? I
Yeah,
hope
it's
she's
still
still.
ongoing.
I hear it's really good. Is she there as a player, or is she
She's
there
there
as
as
like
a
a?
player,
Water
right?
Okay.
versus water.
Blood versus
Her
water.
and
She's there with her daughter.
daughter. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, so it's it's
But
it's
that's
really cool.
good.
Blood versus water is, well, you go there with the significant other, right? And they usually separate the two, so one on either tribe. Yeah, so yeah, it's really cool. It's refreshing to see Sandra, because she's like her and her daughter, they're the only Americans in Survivor Australia, and people know her as the queen, as a two-time winner, so she has to sort of prove herself again. So you don't see the usual Sandra who, like, who wants to sit out, and then she has her hand right up. Because
Sandra Bench.
yeah, yeah. Here she hardly ever does that. I don't think she's ever been benched so far. That's so it's refreshing to see her do be participative in the challenges. But yeah, if you can catch Survivor Australia, it's a yeah, again, we talked about this before the show. For me, it's very nostalgic. Aside from the fact that it's in Australia, they're doing it in the outback. A lot of the challenges are very physical.
Oh, yeah.
They're going old school with the challenges. Yeah.
Well, it's gonna be nice though.
As for the alliances, the question about the alliances, it was. It feels like this season is meant to be watched not only as like a season of television, but you're like all of the other stuff that come out around it. You kind of have to watch that as well in order to kind of get the full context, because like seeing all of the exit interviews and all of that sort of thing, like that was where I think the story of Erica and Tiffany was fleshed out a lot more. You know, like we didn't get to see it in the show, but we somehow got the story through, you know, watching the EW exit interviews, and like Rob has the podcast and all of that. Like it feels like this season is also sort of relying on all of the other media that's out there to sort of help bolster its story, you know. Secret Scenes, Ponderosas, all of that sort of thing, like seem like they're almost required viewing.
Ooh. I'll have to keep
To
track
get
of that.
more background on it.
Yeah, like that's how I felt about it. Or maybe it was just because I wasn't used to seeing Survivor,
okay.
and I needed the extra, and I
Yes.
needed sort of the extra kind of content to establish context. But you know, like I might not be as good at like inferring things as a more seasoned viewer might be able to. That they
Like
need to be
Martin
spelled
is
out
like
to
this.
me a little bit more.
Martin is the subject matter expert here.
You're inferring it correctly, in my opinion. I mean, we actually chatted when they were talking about the whole thing that happened, and then you pointed out, well, Erica's there too, you know, American, not white, not white.
It was this was the thing that
Tribal
made
council,
me the thing that made me pick Erica to win was the fact that they were showing a Black Alliance be dismantled.
Ooh.
Because if they made a story about a Black Alliance be dismantled, there is no way Xander is going to win that season.
Oh, true.
Yeah, because he is the Yeah, oh my God, yeah.
The only
So I
thing
was like,
he
alright,
needed,
they're
he needed
showing-
was to have like blonde hair, and then he would have been the perfect like villain
Yeah.
for that.
So
Black
you know,
Alliance.
like, so the fact that the show had the balls to show the Black Alliance get dismantled told me that it's going to have to be a person of color that wins.
Either
Wow.
Erica or Ricardo in that episode. Whoa.
That's actually pretty. Wow. Now I'm gonna have like, and this from a guy who hasn't been watching Survivor for like the longest time, right? Me, I just watch it just for the fun, actually, really. I just like making theories about who's gonna
Holy
come
smokes.
next. But that
But yeah,
is
you gotta
a very good insight.
For it more, like, because the one in the alliance was there in the final three. That was Xander, Desan, and Erica, right?
Yeah, so it was really like, yeah,
And Desan didn't get any votes, did he?
yeah.
He got
Did he
one.
But then
get
again,
from Danny.
it was because of the way that he played, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he.
I wasn't like the devious D-Rad or whatever it was he wanted to call himself didn't like come out, you know. At
Yeah.
least in the edit. At least in the edit.
In the edit, yeah, in the edit, it didn't come out. Yeah, it seemed like he was hesitant. He was hesitant with the big moves that he did, and he always came out he always came out too emotional, right? During tribal, he would always be too emotional. Yeah, and it really, yeah.
I don't know that. Another sort of recurring theme for this season where was the players that at least I think were portrayed as doing well were the ones that had the ability to like step back and calm down. You know, like like Ricard, you know, our eventual winner, Erica, Danny, right?
Mm-hmm.
These were the players that were sort of portrayed to be the good players, the ones that, you know, yeah, they probably have a shot, and they were shown to be the ones that can kind of take a step back and sort of think before they start talking. And the ones that were like, you know, talk before we think were the ones that were either pre-merge boots or, you know, Deshaun.
Yeah. A lot of those who played a little bit too intense too early, those were the guys who were like, those are the early boots. Yeah. And it was the people who were able to like, okay, assess things. That's why Shan was also one of my picks actually, because she was that. You didn't, although via the edit, it seemed as if she was really playing hard, but she was devious about it. You couldn't see her like forcing others to vote a certain way. Yeah. That was pretty good.
And it kind of feeds into the story of how Erica won.
Yeah.
Right, because all of the players that didn't play like Erica did, you know, your JDs of the world, right? Your JDs and your Voces of the world, like the
God,
big
Voce, the
personalities.
first vote, yeah.
Right, the big personalities were the ones that were shown to us to be not winner material, at least for the season, which served as sort of the counterweight to Erica's win, which could be an issue, right? Like it isn't like the editors are showing Erica winning so much as they are pointing towards an Erica win. I think you alluded to something like that earlier on, but I don't know.
Yeah.
It wasn't a hard push that's saying, "Oh, she's the winner. You just have like a 5-minute segment in a pre-merge episode to know about who Erica is, and then the next few minutes, oh my God, this Erica girl, she's dangerous. We gotta get her out.
Yeah, we didn't really quite see how. That's why I also didn't quite. I didn't really believe. Although probably it was there, they probably saw things. There's probably a lot of a lot of scenes that weren't shown, right? Unaired scenes that really showed how devious Erica was. But it was so weird. Shan saying, "Oh, Erica's dangerous," and then a lot of them were saying, "Erica's dangerous," but we didn't really see it.
Yeah. So it was like the show wasn't showing an Erica win. The show was implying an Erica win.
Yeah.
Yeah, nothing like until like the last episode.
Yeah.
So the subtitle of this should be like Survivor 41: Show Don't Imply.
Yeah. Show.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
The biggest highlight, her first big highlight was just when she with the bottle, right, with the sand. That was her big highlight.
The sand.
What did you guys think of that? Do you like sand? I don't like.
It's
sand.
rough.
It's
what was it?
I don't like sand on my feet. But, that was a surprising twist because it does fit the narrative of this being a very new game. So anything.
In that moment,
it's
though,
an
it was like Jeff
experiment.
Probst is an asshole. Like,
Yeah, basically. Welcome, Joao, to Survivor fandom. Because he is indeed an asshole.
Like, I don't
He's the
I don't know.
McMahon of Survivor.
It was like even watching it the first time, it just kind of didn't sit right. Like, hey, you know, and I just sort of chalked it up to being like, oh yeah, this is how Survivor is now. But apparently, it was a big thing.
Yeah.
For like the Survivor, for the Survivor part of the internet. You know,
Yeah, because it was a totally new thing that was introduced, and then I mean the guys who already won the reward already, and then you take it away from them, right? And sorry, it wasn't a reward; it was immunity, right? It was immunity. The guys who won immunity, they were already immune, they were okay, and then all of a sudden, oh no, you're not immune. It's the other team.
which is fun. Yeah. Which is why after she won the million, like Erica was like, "Oh, there's something else that's gonna happen after this. What is this?"
Yeah.
I don't know.
So yeah, so that was. Any other final thoughts about season 41, guys?
I think the right winner won. Winner bird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, with the three that were left,
Yeah, it was.
it was gonna be Erica.
Yeah.
It was
It
gonna
was
be.
gonna be Erica. After all the bad fate moves that Desan did,
Mm-hmm.
even to his alliance, I think, yeah, that sucked.
It was
So,
gonna be Erica. Sandra
I
would
like
have been
the-
the ultimate underdog win, but as what Joao pointed out, it would have been weird for him to win, having shown like an African American alliance getting beaten. Yeah,
That would have been quite
Problematic.
bad and
If
problematic
he had won, they would have the producers would have downplayed the Black Alliance.
probably.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
probably. Yeah, we probably wouldn't have seen any of those scenes.
And I think it's really about the age factor now of Xander. But the thing is, he's already a made man before he went there. He's the app developer guy, right? And he did mention he's
yeah.
already.
Yeah,
Maybe that played into a factor too.
I don't know, but I
he
think
got money.
I think the problem that he had was he wasn't very good at showing that he was earnest.
Mm.
Yeah, he was.
You
They
know,
think
him-
he was very.
I thought he was sneaky.
What's that? Know that term? Oblivious.
No, I know. I think he came across as kung sa Filipino pa was came across as being plastic, diba?
Yeah.
Ah, there you go.
In G-
Yeah.
Yeah, so like
but yeah,
I
except
think
with the Liana thing, I really think that was like pulling pigtails and stuff.
yeah. But she hates his face. So.
Yeah.
It was a great cast. My thoughts
I actually
on it.
like
My thoughts on
the
it. It was a really good cast.
I like the cast. Speaking of cast, we now go to the season 42 cast. It was announced just recently, and then we've had a couple of promos about them already. I've had some time to check on them. I've been limiting my quote unquote research to YouTube videos that I didn't watch any assessments. I didn't watch any reactions. I just checked them out. So what are your first impressions of the cast? We have a total of 18 players coming in.
By default, I have to go for the Vietnamese guy.
Yeah, I was gonna say that too. The data entry guy. Go
Because,
data
you know,
entry guy. No,
Like if
I think-
Erica wasn't in season 41, it would have been like straight up Nasir, right? Like
Yeah, Nasir.
the dude
yeah.
that's
Yeah.
closest,
I'd go
the dude
straight
that's
up
closest
Nasir,
to where
man.
we are, right? So
No
I'm gonna have to go for the
freaking way.
Vietnamese guy.
Yeah, same here. His name is Hai Jiang. Hai Jiang?
Oh, okay.
So I mean, by default, that guy has to be the pick because
Yeah, has to be
Southeast
the
Asian.
He's
man.
Southeast Asian, as compared to like Jenny Kim, who's like probably not from Southeast Asia.
East Asia. So
East Asia.
if
you know.
the Vietnamese guy wasn't there, we'd probably go for her, right?
Yeah, obviously.
And then
he's
next,
like the next guy would have been
for me, the
Omar.
next one would have been the pageant guy, because
Oh,
he's like
Romeo.
Latino, right? Yeah, because he's like
Yeah, he's
Latino, right?
Latino.
So like,
Romeo
um,
He was
Escobar.
colored.
yeah, so that's culturally close to the Philippines. Like when you watch Encanto, diba? You're like, oh my god, that feels
Yeah,
like the
yeah.
Philippines. Oh, it's South American. All right, cool. And like
Nice,
that's
nice.
my next pick.
Yeah.
So
I
this
mean,
is this is the criteria for choosing who your favorites are.
I'm not gonna get the white boy Jonathan Young, maybe.
Not
It's like a
until
But if
physical
you,
threat.
he's like obviously Jonathan Young is like
the
the
Mactor.
yeah, and there's only one
He's
for
the
the
actor,
season. Like, he's
man.
like he's the only huge dude. Everyone else,
Yeah.
eh, there's a I don't know because I mean we all know as Survivor fans we all know that they sort of typecast, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they always have two or three big dudes, and then you've got the father type, and then the mother type. They seeming I think that they kind of have a new interpretation of the cast especially for this one.
they don't have anybody that looks like is going to be like a physical challenge beast.
Just that guy,
Except
just
that
that
guy.
Jonathan Young, just him. Because like
And
he's
the other,
yeah, he's the obvious
there's-
strongman. Everyone else, you've got a stay-at-home dad. You've got yeah, you got we have a lot of young players. You've got a lot of students.
and I don't know, the other buff guys are like pretty old. Nah.
Yeah, yeah, right. Who was that guy?
Like
Uh,
the firefighter,
yeah, the
It's like-
retired firefighter.
like he's pushing 60, right? So
Yeah. And he admittedly said because I watched one video. He admittedly said he's not gonna be super strong in any one of the in any one category or any one factor, the outwit, outplay, outlast, but he's gonna be okay in all of them. See, he's a jack of all trades, master of none.
and that was something that they don't do anymore. They don't like. I remember the early Survivor seasons were all about like, oh, so how did so and so outwit, and how did so and so outplay, and how did so and so outlast. Like it
Mm.
doesn't seem to be made such a big deal.
Especially in
Anymore.
the final tribal, right? It's always divided into the three. What do you call this? The three those three words, right? Outwit, outplay, outlast.
Yeah, so it feels like a false trichotomy at this point.
It's now just, and if you noticed, a lot of them they think that their best characteristic is the fact that they're social. So it's become really a social game. Whoever makes the best social relationships, they're the ones who get far in the game. What are your thoughts?
But Erica,
Yeah,
Erica
that's
proved us
probably
wrong there.
Oh,
Or like she redefined the social game, right?
yeah.
Like looking at the limited like previous Survivor seasons that I've watched, the social game was always about going out there and creating relationships, whereas Erica's strategy seemed to be very selective in the relationships that you create,
Mhm.
which is a different sort of social game. Like you can't like the jury isn't going to vote for you to backstab them. So if you don't create the relationship with them, they can't be mad at you for
Yeah.
backstabbing them.
Actually, because that was what I think the Flawed Day Sounds game was. He backstabbed the people who he had a relationship with.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, I couldn't stand you. You're
I
pushing
don't know.
too much. I want to vote you out, Sam. Like something like that, right? Yeah, that was that.
Anyway, going back to the season 42
The new
cast.
season, yeah. Yeah, I'm going for data scientist guy,
Data scientist guy.
and I had to double check if Tori Meehan is related to Don Meehan. Apparently, maybe not. So there you go. Unless Survivor Wiki has something else to say, I'm not checking that out until confirmed. Yeah. So, Joel, who's your pick to win?
My pick. I'm actually drawn to Swati Goyal, the Ivy League student. I was just really struck. Yeah, I was struck by her story.
Yeah.
Like that she was raised in Silicon Valley. She joined the military, and I think that, well, because I watched the video of all 18 survivors declaring why they're gonna win, and there were some who had like really, what, really, that's your testament to why you're gonna win.
Generic.
Yeah, very generic, because I can
reasons.
outplay, outlast everyone. It was like, okay, because this is my destiny, right?
That's
Yeah.
not a winner quote.
Yeah. For
It's
her,
my
it was
destiny to win Survivor.
For
My
her-
name is Russell Hicks.
Russell Hantz. For her, for Swati, it was still understated, right? She just said that she's really adaptable, and I think that that's gonna be important in this new game of Survivor. You have to be able to react to the different circumstances right away, right? And oh my gosh, I do see a lot of them saying that, okay, I make connections really quick. Mihan, Tori Mihan said that she's going to use the fact that she's a therapist as a weapon.
So look at Denise. Is he a sex
Like Shan,
therapist?
who said who used her pastor thing as a weapon.
Yeah, but actually she was very effective all the way until Ricard backstabbed her. Right?
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
it's a very weird situation because both of them would try to outlast the other, and they said that, right?
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
That it wouldn't come as a surprise to both of them, actually.
Yeah. And we have like one survivor who said that for me, she's like super over prepared. She even went into Reddit just to
Oh.
figure out the flaws of all of the previous losers. She did all of her research. She played online survivor games. Oh my
She's
god.
first boot.
That'd be
Yeah.
sad. That would be sad. That would be sad. Yeah, I hope that one of the flaws that she found was the fact that a lot of the early boots were like those who played too hard too early. So I hope that she like pulls things back at the start. Yeah. But a lot of the contestants are super fans.
I don't know. This season is going to be much the same as 41. Like, what do you
26 days.
what do you think they're going to change, and what do you hope they're going to change? Like, I hope they change the mechanics of the hourglass, for example.
I hope it doesn't come back because it should be a once in a generation thing for Survivor, right? It shouldn't be every season. That's
Yeah.
just me. It's
Oh,
too
like,
soon.
To me, it was the
Maybe-
hand of production. It was the very heavy hand of production there, because like, it would have been cool if Erica got immunity either way,
Mm-hmm.
right? But the
Mhm.
fact that one option offered immunity and the other one didn't made it an absolute no-brainer. So it was a terrible cliffhanger, but it was also like the very heavy hand of the producer saying, "Yo, this is what we would like you to do. Please do it." And as a result, like, the consequences really didn't matter to Erica, right?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
it should be a thing where, like, the other half of the tribe is like really pissed off at you, but then because it was the very heavy hand of the producer coming in, the other half of the tribe was like, "Oh yeah, that's cool. It was Jeff being an asshole."
He is.
So it would have been interesting to see, like, if she was given all that power, what would the decision have been?
Mm.
And I think a version of the hourglass could work in that sort of context, where it wasn't Jeff lying. It was one of the players being given the opportunity to screw somebody else over, or to screw half the tribe over.
Yeah, more. Yeah, it shouldn't be seen. It shouldn't be obvious that it's like a production call, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's yeah. You're right.
So like I can see a version of it working like that. But then at that point the choice then becomes obvious not to not to break the hourglass
Yeah,
because you'd alienate half of it. But anyway,
but yeah,
But she survived
the choice should be. Uh, I guess it has to be something that the would really also benefit the person who chooses. I guess. Because if you're gonna alienate half of your tribe, half of the tribe, it has to be super beneficial to you. Yeah, it can't be something that simple. Like, okay, I'm not gonna go to tribal council tonight, right, or something like that. But yeah, something I'd like. Oh, I hope it's not an advantage or anything like that. I want to see them do more edits like the way that they did the Nasir edit.
Oh, that was.
Where he actually had a hidden immunity idol. The attempt at hiding the right before the knowledge is power advantage was played. Those kinds of edits, like your typical twists in a film, right? Yeah, I'd like to see that. I'd like to see that put more into play so that because we've been watching Survivor for like 42 seasons or yeah for a long time, and these are things that like whoa that happened that, right? Because I doubt we're ever gonna get another. That was Siri, right? Where everyone was suddenly all immune, and she was the last person.
Yeah, like,
So,
the advantage getting.
yeah, I doubt we're ever gonna see something like that again. So it's up to producers
hope
to tell an interesting story, and I think that is one very effective way of telling an interesting story. So yeah, that we don't really benefit from their like what do you call this? Those things that they show up right before right before the challenges, where you can go to cbs.com and answer or something, because here in the Philippines we can't really connect. We can't really answer that, right?
the
Because-
game within the game.
Yeah, the game within the game. So I can't really say anything about that. What other thing? I Yeah, so far that's it. It's more of the way that they tell the story more than the actual game mechanics for me. And having watched Australian Survivor recently, I do hope that they have more head-to-head challenges, head-to-head physical challenges, not just the tribes running together, going trying to accomplish their different tasks, but no head-to-head. Yeah, no head-to-head physical challenge. It's gonna be hard if they're gonna do that in this upcoming season because you've got one obvious strong man. Right? But yeah. What about you, Marts?
Wait, what's the question again?
What would you like to
I think
see
I
and
got-
what would you like to be
Oh.
removed?
Well, like I said, I don't want the hourglass to be back because it's just been a season after. That's
Mhm.
stupid. Do or Die, I think should stay
Mm.
because it's you saw like, oh my god, so this guy just lost the immunity challenge. He's the first one out, and he can be gone. That's something kind of interesting. I want that back. I don't know why. Maybe you guys don't, but I kind of like that. Obviously, what we will see is a 26-day game again because of the COVID situation they had filming this last year. Maybe what I like to see, aside from that, is this cast is going to be fun because I love how the new cast of 41 was good.
Mhm.
So now the pressure's on the cast of 42 to be a very interesting mix too, from pre-merge to post-merge. Because we have the funny characters like the JDs, the Brads, the Vosays, the the Sydneys of the world. Who knows who we'll have this time? So there you go. That's for me.
Wow.
What did you think of the shot in the dark? Nope, I found that so dumb.
Yeah,
because
that's why
I don't think
didn't
that
include
the
it.
choice was
It's-
ever really like there was nothing happened in the season that
That warrants it.
necessitated its use enough.
Yeah.
Right?
All right,
It's like, oh, it's there.
Yeah.
or not dumb. But it wasn't powerful. Or no, something was wrong with
Yes.
the percentages.
Yeah,
Ah,
1 in
yeah,
6.
there you go,
Like
the
you have a 1 in
percentage of
6
work.
chance of,
Yeah.
of not of leaving tribal. It was
Like
that
you,
was like a shot.
you don't
I don't know.
you don't give up your vote for 1 in 6.
Yeah,
Something was wrong with that.
yeah.
But
not
like
not unless like
conceptually-
you obviously know like you are in the bottom. Uh, and then there's I don't know they probably were overestimating the value of a player not rolling the dice, quote unquote, right? With the number of people that they've worked with within the tribe. Yeah.
I mean, that's
That's one of the
all
ones that I'd like to see come back and hope that it's like at least tweaked
Mm.
and used better, because that's quite an interesting mechanic, man. Give up your vote for a chance.
Marty, you were saying something?
No, for me, like, yeah, that's really it. I don't think the Shot of the Dark should come back to.
And hopefully
it feels like a nothing burger, man. Oh, it's here. Oh, how many times was it used?
Was
I
it
think
even
just
used?
once or twice.
Sydney.
Once.
It takes this once, right?
Just once.
Like, oh, okay. So
Yeah.
useless. It's
I don't know, but they supposedly forgot that it existed or something. Like listening to their post-game interviews, like a lot of them
Oh, really?
forgot that it was a thing that actually existed. Because, like,
Oh.
I don't- because it didn't feel like Jeff was saying, "And a Shot in the Dark is still available." Like
He
I
didn't
don't remember
point
him
to it.
saying
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Oh, maybe that might be one tweak that they can make, that Jeff actually points it out.
Because but he has, he says like if anybody has a hidden immunity idol,
Right.
or if anybody would like to play the Shot in the Dark, like,
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah, they can add that to his script. Yeah, because if it's
It-
just a
it's-
matter of them forgetting that it was there, yeah. Yeah.
Underutilized, and I think the percentages are wrong.
Yeah. But then again, they're rolling a six-sided die. That was that, right? They rolled a six-sided die into that thing.
It's a D6. A 1 in 3 mini, or like flip a coin. Because you're giving up your vote, that's huge.
Mm.
oh yeah.
Mm.
But
And then they don't announce who gets to leave until all the votes are cast. Oh, that would be so
Yeah.
cool. That would be a nice twist, right? What if all of a sudden, like, three the three people who were like in the bottom were played, and then they won, and all of them. What happens though? What would happen if all of them leave, and they were the people that were being voted out? Right? What happens then? So everybody goes back home, or I guess that the remaining people will have to revote.
Well, it always boils down to one of two things: either rocks or fire.
hopefully not the rocks.
That's all that Survivor. Like, oh, we don't know what to do now. All right, rocks.
Rocks.
Draw rocks. Because if the percentages become higher, it can become a strategy for the people in the bottom. Right? Let's risk our vote for the chance of just stepping out of tribal, and then let them fight amongst
Yeah.
themselves.
Yeah, I mean that's something that good games have. Good games have comeback mechanics,
Yeah.
and like I'm not sure about the game of Survivor's comeback mechanics, but then like that's winning immunity challenges and stuff.
Yeah. Or
But that's
like
just, like,
Jeff Probst
one.
giving you an hourglass.
Yeah, there. She would have really
Anyways.
gone home that day, no? She would have been like the merge boot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Because yeah, they already did.
They were planning to take her out that night.
Yep.
Something that Ricard said really, something that Ricard said really, like in one of the post game interviews, made so much sense to me. Like if Erica was on the outs, why did they send her? Like that seemed like a pretty dumb move all around.
Because they didn't think that she would be given that kind of an advantage. I think because in Exile, did they call it Exile? They called it Exile,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. In Exile, you had to go in the previous iterations of Exile, you'd have to accomplish a challenge in order to get the advantage. They didn't think it was gonna be that this because this was the first time that it happened.
Right. Yeah, I mean, like to my mind, but if like even watching it, I had known that at least through like osmosis and all of that, that being sent to like another island means that there's an advantage somewhere.
Yes.
Like that seems automatic for Survivor. So if somebody is on the outs, the last thing you want to do is send them to another island. That way you can't like.
You don't have the chance.
Yeah. Anyway, just I don't know.
Well, that's how they chose it, and that's why they all lost to Pinoy Pride. Yeah.
Yeah.
So wait. So who you guys? You have Hai Jiang. He's your early
Yeah.
favorite. My early favorite
Okay.
is Swati Goyal. So yeah, we'll see. Hopefully we get to churn out more episodes, especially for this upcoming season. When's it coming out again?
March 9.
March.
March 9.
March 9. March 9. It's in a month. Yeah, hopefully we can keep track of it, so that.
If not, I'm available by July 1, I guess.
Ooh. So it might be another post season.
Yeah.
It'll be our reunion show. We will have our own reunion show. All right.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll try to keep it up as
course,
often as we can, so that we can talk about Survivor, another laro that we love. All right. Okay. Any last words, gentlemen?
For me, so are you Team LeBron or Team KD for this coming weekend?
No, that's a totally different. A totally different game.
I was gonna say listen to Bodega Nights. It's a podcast.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, go,
that I
man.
do,
Go.
Okay.
Where can they find Bodega Nights?
Yes.
Anywhere you get your podcasts. You know, if you just search for it, it should be there.
Also, you can find it on
Bodega
channel14.com.
Channel
With our
14.
other shows like The Cast Garden, Third World Gaming, and older shows like Third World Linux, Radio Norm, and Jobber Talk. I guess we can plug it too, Joao, right? We have a latest episode of The Cast Garden once this episode comes out with our friend Gabby, and then another episode like after that. I don't know when we're coming back because of work situations on my end, but hey, you can catch me and Joao there, channel14.com. We also have a Patreon. That's patreon.com/channel14. We have some monthly. It's okay to disclose once more. Not getting any cent of that. Just promoting my friend's Patreon account. Okay. Again, no cent of that. Not even a centavo. Okay, guys.
All the Patreon money goes to funding our domain name.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
and technically-
Well, hopefully,
Nothing to-
that's why where you guys are trying
Right?
to get more people on Patreon, so that Martin will finally get a centavo of the Patreon. Right?
No, I don't think I can. It's
Oh,
illegal.
okay.
So I
Alright.
won't. It's basically
that,
for the
that
site.
way we can quit our jobs.
Yeah.
And continue churning out content.
So I can finally get a centavo when I quit.
There.
But
Yeah,
I
that's
don't get
the
anything until
dream.
then.
That's the dream.
Yeah, that's a dream. And Joe, where can we find you guys here on the YouTube channel?
Oh well, yeah, we do have the Laro-Laro channel. We churn out we try to churn out content as regularly as we can. It also depends on the schedules of the Sportitos. Yeah, we're trying to come up with regular interviews with our with former PBA stars or even current PBA stars. Aside from Laro-Laro lang channel, though, I'm also starting up the channel of geeks with a couple of friends. We've had glorious reacts. We're rebranding it to the channel of geeks. We're gonna come out with new content. You guys can catch me there as well. So we talk about different stuff, different geeky stuff, from television shows to movies to. We might try to copy the Critical Role, but we're gonna play board games. We're just gonna play board games, different board games. But yeah, that's that. So Laro-Laro lang channel. You just search Laro-Laro lang, you'll find us, and soon we'll launch the channel of geeks.
Nice.
Alright. Okay. And so yeah, that's it for this episode of the Council of Titos. If you like the show, please like the video and consider to subscribe to our YouTube channel. On behalf of our Sportitos Martin and Joao, this has been Chief Bisdak, Joel Parcon. See you again next time. Only here.
The Titos have spoken.
The Council of Titos.